Hey guys, what's up?
Hey,
Hi
hey.
everyone. What's
That
going
was my
on?
best radio DJ intro. Little vocal fry there at the end. Sounded cool, right?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Always sounds cool.
Definitely one of your best, yeah. I would
Thanks
say
for your enthusiasm, jerks.
so. Hi, you two people.
Just here to please.
So here we are. We're here, right here.
We're all
We
here
are.
because we're not all there. That's what I used to say.
It's
Three weeks in a row.
3
yeah.
weeks in a
We're
row.
almost on like a set schedule now. This is crazy.
I know. We're back in the saddle again. It is also the night before Inauguration Day. I don't know about you guys, but I'm
At the time of recording.
At the time of recording, yes. I'm super excited because obviously I'm a woman and I'm going to witness our first ever female vice president be sworn in.
Yeah.
Woman of color. Wow. Just can't tell you how excited I am. It's pretty incredible to see this, and I hope, now I'll be able to say we had an African American president, we've had a female, we will have a female vice president. So I hope we continue to see some equality and equity in our government. So I am going to be getting up very early tomorrow, no matter how much I drink tonight, because I'm on the West Coast. So 7 a.m. Let's do this.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our company actually postponed a company-wide meeting for a later date that was originally scheduled for tomorrow. So people
Good. It should be a national holiday. Like, sorry, but if there's any national holiday, would it not be the day that your new administration is sworn in?
I agree with that. I mean, it's, once every 4 or 8 years, or once every 4 years, right? Yeah. So even if you re-up, you still
Guaranteed.
get inaugurated. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And same with
yeah.
election day should be everything closed. Like, you will survive without getting bread and milk from 7-Eleven. Like, let everybody have the damn day off and go vote. So yeah. I was really proud this year. My company not only gave us the day off, but also encouraged us to volunteer as poll workers and drive people, whatever we could do. So that was really awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. So what else is going on, you guys?
Oh, living the dream, in this just kind of staying at home, getting groceries to go. Still doing that stuff.
Same. Yep. What's vaccination schedules like in your states? Because in mine it's slow.
Yeah, I think it's slow pretty much everywhere.
There's some states though, so strangely, my sister lives in northern Idaho and I'm right on the border, and they're one of the states that was like, oh, the virus is fake news, fuck your masks, and they would try to vote in mask mandates in towns and cities, and it would get shut down and there would be riots. It was so stupid. But guess what happens when the vaccine comes out? They're like lightning getting that shit injected. So
I think it might have to do with population density in both cases. I think the amount of disbelief is proportional to how the lack of population density in a state. Let me put it that way. Probably because they're not seeing it spreading as fast as other ones.
I know in Florida, at least I can speak for Publix, which is a supermarket down here, that their pharmacies are starting to administer them to frontline workers, and people over the age of 65 are eligible for them at Publix. So that's the
tier 1 or whatever they call it, right? Because
yeah.
So my sister is an administrator. She's just a secretary at the middle school, elementary school, and she's getting vaccinated. Restaurant workers have gotten vaccinated in northern Idaho. I'm like, damn. So yeah, it's really strange. Yeah, that's not the case in Washington State yet.
Not Illinois either. So far, the only people I know who have gotten it are medical professionals.
Yeah, that's the same in Washington. 65 and up, I think, can start getting it. So I am very anxious myself to get it. I cannot wait to be vaccinated. so that we can return to normal life and I can no longer be a walking time bomb to anyone else and don't have to worry about my own health. So I am looking forward to it.
Yep, me too.
So what's the topic for tonight, Ed?
So tonight we are continuing on our Metallica themed episodes, and tonight we are doing something a little different. We all watched the video, I guess you could call it. It's not necessarily a documentary, it's more like a video record.
True.
I would say, called Cliff-em-all, which is basically Metallica's homage to their deceased bass player, Cliff Burton. The video encompasses a lot of their live performances that were recorded back in the day. Quality isn't great, but it sure is fun to watch. A lot of like outtakes, just little, homemade video clips here and there of the band, especially Cliff, since it's focusing on him, and just kind of a nice tribute to Cliff. And we will be discussing that tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. That was fun the other day when we were all watching at the same time.
Yes.
Hey, Matt, any current news or shit we should talk about?
Oh, we have a plethora of different topics here. Yes. And boy, are they different. Yeah.
This is very true. The list looks amazing.
Yes. First, I will make this as short, succinct, and direct as possible. So This guy's name has been circulating. His band's name has been circulating. I will only say this once. You guys can chime in if you want. So Iced Earth, frontman John Schaefer, fuck you.
Yes.
Oh, I know exactly why. I saw the story.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And he's
Period. The end.
Been arrested. He can go fuck himself. And let's hope this is the last we hear of that traitorous piece of garbage. Fuck him. Good job, Matt.
All right, and better news. The great Dolly Parton today has a birthday.
Yeah.
75 years young.
Man.
God bless her. An American treasure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note,
tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the streets the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it.
Oh yes, that brings back some memories.
The best. I dare you to not smile and not bounce along at least to that song when you hear it. Makes me happy. I thought we could use a little bit of happiness.
Agreed.
So happy birthday, Dolly. As you can see, I have my Dolly portrait behind me. She is the bomb diggity. By the way, did you know that she is not the producer, but her production company was one of the producers of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I just found that out this week, and I was like, of course, because Dolly is literally fucking magic. She's a magical unicorn.
Her and Betty White, another national treasure.
Yes.
Yes.
Betty White.
99 years old.
99.
Yeah. And she still can curse with the best of them.
Yes. So, great segue, Sailor. Speaking of Buffy. Although this woman, to me, is not the true Buffy. But Sarah Michelle Gellar honors Buffy the She's not the true Buffy.
She is the true Buffy.
What are you talking about? Christy Swanson was the first
Buffy. She's the true Buffy.
Oh,
no, I didn't say she was the first Buffy. I'm saying she's the true Buffy.
No, she's not. Christy Swanson is the true Buffy. Yes.
No, she sucks.
Don't. She sucks. Come on. Great movie, by the way.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the show. Big super fan.
Nah.
I've seen the show, haven't seen the movie.
The movie's like, I mean, it was a great movie, but you can't compare the two. I don't think at all. I don't know.
You can't. The movie's better. Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen. So I knew this was going to happen as soon as I saw this.
Another battle in the making.
Here we go.
So Sarah Michelle Gellar's Buffy, or I should say Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is 43 herself, honored her character, Buffy, who turned 40 on Tuesday, posting a photo to Instagram, a little throwback photo. I feel like she's only 43. Like, doesn't it seem like she's been around for so long? Like, I was shocked to see that she was only 43.
I'm surprised she's 43. She was so much younger than. Well, I guess I thought she was so much younger than me, but she's really not that much younger.
And I feel like her and all of her contemporaries, like I'm expecting them to be older for some reason. I don't know, but they're in their 40s and early 40s.
Yep.
We've got another piece of news too.
What's that?
Oh yeah,
about one of MRW's favorite male topics.
Oh yeah. So friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Yes. Mr. Our certified nutcase, Mr. Dave Mustaine. Another reason to consider him crazy, he is now a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
By the way, coming off of cancer, don't forget.
Correct.
So,
yes.
Man.
He's
that
in his
news
50s.
got swallowed up. Yeah.
Yeah, it really did. So he's in his 50s. He's recovered from cancer, and he got his purple belt. In jiu-jitsu. Fuck yeah, man.
First he tried to outdo Metallica. Now he's going after Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting fight right there. That would be a great battle royale. Man.
Next article is going to be Dave Mustaine going for his
if he signs up for pilot's lessons.
Yeah.
But he'd also have to be a chemical engineer.
Yeah.
A distiller, a brewer. What else is he? He's something else.
That's
too.
a lot to do.
A commercial
when you're his
pilot.
age.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a whole other animal.
I'll backtrack on what I just said. He's not a nutcase anymore. He's actually been a lot more tame the last 20 years or so.
Yeah. True.
So, Dave Mustaine in 1983 being a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
No thanks.
Maybe a little dangerous. Yeah.
No thanks.
As we saw a little bit of that in the documentary we watched, but yeah.
Before we get into tonight's subject, I came across this. I don't know even where I came across this. So we now have charts for streamed music, and the most streamed hard rock or metal by total songs from January 8th to January 14th are like this. I just snapped the first 15. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is what a weird ass mix of shit people are streaming in this category. Like, this is weird. All right, so number one is Queen.
So hold on. Let's clarify one thing.
Sure.
So they're lumping all genres into just the streamed
hard rock and metal. This is hard rock and metal.
This is hard rock and metal.
What they consider hard rock and metal.
All right, gotcha.
Which they're fucking wrong, but okay. We'll get to that.
It's like 13
That's
of
another
15.
discussion.
There's so many in here that are not hard rock. So anyway, okay, but listen how fucking weird this is. So number one, Queen. Number two, AC/DC. Number three, Panic at the Disco. What the fuck? Okay. Number four, Linkin Park. Number five, Metallica. Number six, Led Zeppelin. Number seven, I'm not saying their fucking names. I'm not saying these bastards' names. Those pepper guys that are kind of warm. The next one is Five Finger Death Punch. Then Nirvana, Fall Out Boy, Green Day, 3 Days of Grace. What the fuck?
3 days grace?
Just
3 days grace.
3 days of grace.
Whatever.
What's the difference?
5 seconds of summer. So it's like 3 days of summer, 3 days of gray, whatever. then Shinedown, then Blink 182. Yo, crazy motherfuckers, 10 fucking million people listening to fucking Blink 182 in a week. Get the fuck out of here.
It's all Matt's generation.
How are they rock? They're not rock.
Yeah,
More than that 5 seconds
they're punk pop, right?
They're pop.
Too.
Punk
what I would call.
It's pop music, popular music. There's no rock, there's no punk to it. They're just pop. Period. Pop, period. Huh. So I just wanted to bring up how fucking weird. I mean, I don't know if people are like having a nervous breakdown that week and they're like, I need to listen to my shitty comfort music from my my era. Like maybe that's what's happening. Because it's such a bizarre list.
Those are all very popular bands, whether or not you like them.
Well, some of them are garbage. So that's what I wanted to say.
Like the only hard rock metal band on there is Metallica.
The only metal band on there is
metal band, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, AC/DC is hard
AC/DC?
rock. Yeah.
That's hard rock. That's not metal. That's hard rock.
True.
Yeah, no, there's nobody else that's metal on there, so get the fuck out of here with your metal shit. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Okay. Also, last thing I just want to say, yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. And as of when we were recording, and I have to say that it felt a little different this year. And I was observing how a lot of people what language they were using and their sentiment. And I have to say that, from the community that I kind of go in and out of all over social media, I was surprised to see people kind of taking responsibility for, posting memes every MLK Day and not really living up to what Martin Luther King Jr. stood for and that movement. So I listened to his, I Have a Dream. I listened to it every year, and it was very poignant this year. So if you had the day off, Black Lives should matter to you. If you didn't have the day off, Black Lives should matter to you. If you've ever quoted Martin Luther King Jr., Black Lives should matter. So that's where I'm going to leave that. On to the show. Matthew.
Let's do it.
Do it. Should we listen to a song first?
Let's listen to a song. Yeah.
What do you want to listen to?
Oh, whatever you want.
No.
Are you taking requests?
I mean, maybe. Depends on if I like it or not.
9 to 5 again? Maybe? No?
You want to listen to some more 9 to 5? Let's do it.
Promotion, want to move ahead, but the boss won't seem to let me. I swear sometimes that man is out to get me. They let you dream just to watch him shatter. You're just a step on the boss man's ladder, but you got dreams he'll never take away.
I love the story.
Oh, yeah.
Twice.
I love the story that the sound of the typewriters is actually her nails. That was the best thing I've ever heard. It's phenomenal. I love her so much. All right, on to what we're drinking.
Yes. So I was tasked with the unbelievable task of coming up with a whiskey segment for this episode. So I'm going to go last. But this is where we go around the horn and we talk about what we have in our glass. So, Sailor, do you want to go first? Ed?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure. So we all decided that tonight okay, let me back up. So last Sunday, we were all in our respective homes, and we knew we had to watch Cliff 'Em All again to get ready for the show. And it just so happened that we were all watching it at the same time, and we were texting each other. And Ed was drinking a beer, and I was drinking a beer. And then I'm looking at the guys throughout the entire movie, and it's just beers everywhere. So I was like, all right, we got to drink beers on the show. So that's what we did. So there will be probably a lot of burping. So pardon. I'm drinking a good old Coors Light. This is what I call, if you follow me on Instagram, this is my diet beer. So, yep, I'm drinking that. But I'm also drinking so that I can kind of simulate a beer and a shot. I'm drinking the peated Westland American Single Malt.
Yes.
And it is killer. As a matter of fact, this coming Saturday, I'm hosting a virtual event with Westland.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be tasting 4 of their expressions and doing some cocktails. And one of the cocktails is Dolly inspired because it's all about Dolly this week. So this is probably one of the best products to showcase the category of American single malts. I think we've talked about them before on the show. Just blown away by the quality, by just everything they do from top to bottom. It's a lot to go into because they're a really big story actually for a small distillery, but just a phenomenal whiskey. The peat is so gentle and soft, which is the only reason I'm drinking it. I have been able to open my palate for a couple of years now to very soft, lightly peated whiskeys like Highland Park. I'm obsessed with the Balvenie Peat Week when I can afford it, and then this peated Westland. I didn't quite even pick it up at the time, but then as you get into it, you realize that's what you're tasting, and it's just really, really phenomenal. So big fan. And since it's like my hometown local, I just thought that was appropriate right now to be drinking it.
All right. And I will be attending that virtual tasting. So I am excited and looking forward to that one.
You get to drink a Dolly. Boom.
Yep. So I like Sailor said, we had the idea of drinking the beers because they pretty much all had your nothing fancy, just your standard, grab a case beers in there. So I have Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR here representing.
Yeah.
And I also am sidecarring with a little bit of a bump to go along with my beer. I have a little bit of my shot glass, sipping on a little bit of 1792 Full Proof.
Nice.
To go along with that. That is currently one of my favorites bottles in my collection. Very nice. Very nicely priced too. I couldn't believe I only paid like $38 for that bottle.
Good price, man.
Amazing.
Really good. You get that a lot where you're like in some weird sweet spot where you live. The prices that you talk about
$50 here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think I picked this up. It was actually in Wisconsin that I bought this bottle too, I believe. Oh no, I take that back. It was in Missouri.
Okay,
Missouri is cheap.
Go to Missouri.
You can get a handle of Evan Williams White Label there for like $25.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Well, I'm psyched when I'm going to be driving across the country soon, so I'm going to be stopping at stores, pricing things out.
Cross country shopping.
Exactly. Like instead of the cat in the back. Sorry, move over.
If you swing through St. Louis on your way here, stop at the Total Wine in Chesterfield. It's right out. It's on the west side of St. Louis, and you will find some amazing things at really good prices.
I'll have to do that. So Matt, you have the whiskey segment.
Yes, I do. And the whiskey in the segment, I'm not drinking it, but I'm drinking 2 other things that I want to talk about first.
Okay.
Between the 3 items, they could not be any more different. So this is going to be really interesting.
Awesome.
So my beer, as we were all drinking our old school beer, I went imported. So I have the Foster's gigantic 25-ounce oil can that I'm drinking from right now. a little overkill, but it was cheap and it fit. So
those cans are very cartoonish looking. I mean, they're so huge.
They are.
They
just make my hand look very small. It's like,
that's not a beer. That's a beer.
Foster's. All right, so in my glass, what I'm drinking And I never do this. I am usually, but this is a Metal Rock and Whiskey first. Okay. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh boy.
Yes. I am true to the title of the show, but I made a promise to somebody that I would drink this tonight because they gifted this to me out of the goodness of their heart. So I'm drinking tequila.
What?
Yes. But not just any tequila though. So this is about a $300 bottle retail. Yeah, so they gave me a little sample of this. It's called Tears of Llorona. It's pretty new to the market. It's a 5-year extra añejo. And just to give you some background on the name, so the tequila maker was inspired by this old Mexican legend of La Llorona, which was supposedly in legend was a woman from like the 1500s who fell in love with a conquistador. The conquistador 2-timed her, or I guess got back on a ship to leave, and she was so distraught over this that she drowned her children and then killed herself.
Oh God! Fucking
so yes, a positive story. So that's where the name of this comes from. And as I had told you guys off the air, I've been drinking way more tequila than I ever thought I would, just because the tequila market down here in South Florida is growing exponentially, seemingly by the day. So I'm, being in a consumption business, I have to consume.
You got to know what you're selling your customers.
So this is by far one of the best tequilas I've ever tasted in my life. Definitely top 3.
It's basically what I'm reading about it right now. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah. So it's aged in 3 different casks, which is pretty rare for tequila. It's, I think 50% of the batch is in Scotch. The other 2/4 are sherry and cognac, I want to say. So it gives it layers of depth, but it is just so delicious. Natural sweetness, not the artificial stuff you get with some of these newer brands now. It's just really, really good. And
they do a copper pot stills, and they're saying that it tastes more like a cognac than a tequila, or finishes that way at least.
It does have layers of that profile, definitely. When you get what you get with cognac, some fruitiness, some spice in there too. But really nice, and thank you to Michael. Hopefully he's listening. So so that is what I'm drinking now for my whiskey segment. Yes, beer, tequila, and now whiskey.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So man, what a daunting task to try to pair a whiskey with the great, legendary Cliff Burton. So I really thought about it. And what do we love Cliff Burton for? Not just the aesthetic, not just his talent playing the bass, but what he brought to the band that we all love, or in the case of Sailor, loved. What did he bring? He brought a different dimension. He brought new elements. He brought education. He brought maturity to a degree. So I tried to figure out, maybe there's a person in the whiskey industry that was such a person. And the first name that came to mind, unfortunately, he died way too young as well, was Dave Pickerel. So I linked it to Dave, and it hit me like he had a huge hand and was pretty much the major player in creating one of my favorite whiskeys of all time, which is Hill Rock Rye. So Hill Rock Rye, specifically the Sauterne finish Hill Rock Rye, is my whiskey segment, is my whiskey pairing tonight. And I pulled this little snippet from Hill Rock's website, which was penned right after Dave passed away. And it says, an industry icon, Dave directed Hill Rock's operations as master distiller for nearly a decade before passing in 2018. He trained the distillery team and created all of Hill Rock's mash bills and protocols, setting the highest standards for quality, integrity, and innovation. Dave was respected worldwide as one of the top master distillers and spirits experts in the industry. I mean, that says it all right there. I mean, an educator, a real student of the game, someone that could come in with all of the best knowledge and all of the talent to make something that's great the greatest. And I thought that the link there between Cliff Burton and him, and what Dave did for Hill Rock and what Cliff Burton did for Metallica, was a perfect fit. So Hill Rock Rye is my whiskey pairing for tonight.
I like it, and I get
awesome.
it. Yeah, well done.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah. Empire Rye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, on that note.
Cheers. One of my favorite Metallica covers. Man,
so not mine, but Snow K song just felt like it was appropriate for the moment.
It's one of their better, newer songs.
For sure. Yeah. But I also did know that Ed loves it, so he mentioned that. All right, so let's talk about the movie we watched. Documentary, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll talk a little bit about Cliff himself. I was struck by, so as you mentioned, Ed, the quality of this film. It's, by the way, the whole thing is on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing in its entirety. The quality is terrible in many places of the visually and sound quality, which of course, you know, I mean, that's to be expected and there's not a lot you can do about it. But even though the quality is kind of shitty sometimes, man, that just reminded me of how amazing they were live. Just their sound was so incredible. I miss James' voice, the energy, and their showmanship. It was, as I'm watching it, I'm remembering all the reasons I fell in love with that band. And Robin's sitting with me, and he had not seen it before, and he keeps going, "My God, look at these guys! Oh my God, this is awesome! This is like," and I'm like, "I know, right? This is why it was heartbreaking for some of us when Metallica ceased to be classic Metallica."
Yeah.
You know, and
watching that made me envious of every single person who got to see them live during that era.
Yeah, I mean, no one was doing what they were doing at that time. There was nobody. I mean, really, I mean, Slayer, okay, but
no,
I mean, other
not
than
like,
that, it's
no,
like,
not
even
not
that.
Like
No, exactly.
And and I've tried to make this point so many times on the show, and I should have had us all watch this damn movie first, because the point is that it's hard to remember until you're watching it. You know, I'm there as a 13, 14-year-old girl, and I've never seen anything like that. Not like that. Not with that energy. Not with the enthusiasm of the crowd and that sound. And my God, just incredible. I was trying to remember the first time I saw them, and I can't really remember. But it was with Cliff. I was young, but I definitely saw them at Master of Puppets, and it's probably when I first saw them. But it just renewed my appreciation for them. And also I was telling Robin as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, they're just babies. Look at how tiny babies they are. And I thought they were like grown men when I
mean, they're 24 years old.
Well, when you're
babies.
14-year-old looking at, you know, a 22 or 23-year-old, then it's gonna.
They're like grown adults, like those are man. And I'm looking at them now, I'm like, oh, they're just little babies. I just want to hold them, and we're just like, oh, look their hair. They're just little guys. I
just tussle their hair.
Yeah, and just tell them to eat their food and go to bed early.
I mean, think about being 24 and opening for Ozzy, like on a major tour. And not only opening for Ozzy, but on a lot of nights being the better act. Yes. Like, that's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What amazed me was, I don't know how you can play when your head's constantly thrashing up and down like Cliff Burton. Man, I think Cliff Burton. I mean, I think he may stop every once in a while to change positions or something, but mostly his head's always going. That big mop of hair is always flying. And James too. Yeah. James, when he's not singing, he's pretty much going along with him too. Kurt, not so much, but those two are just.
Well, it depended, and I mean that was the other thing that I brought up to Robin. I remember being like, "This is one of the things like when they would all be banging their heads in perfect timing, all of them, and just the ferocity of the music was just like, whoa, look at this, it was so insane, and you can tell the enthusiasm of the crowd, and what a time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also they're, each one of them, it's funny, they all have their distinct style too. You got Cliff with his bell-bottom jeans there, James with his torn-up jeans, and then you got Kurt, who's like ahead of his time with his black skinny jeans up there.
And Kirk's always in all black but white shoes.
Yep. Yeah. Did you notice though that the one of the things that made me crack up, because I've been on the road with bands so many times on tours, I could tell they were all sharing the same Misfits t-shirt. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's not that they all had that shirt. Trust me, they were all
always wearing a Misfits shirt.
Yeah, they were all sharing it. Someone always had that damn shirt on. And then also, like, James didn't have a shirt on for half of the footage as well. It's such a skinny.
And it's funny to see him tattoo free as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and not beefy. He's beefy now. He's a big guy.
The dad bod now.
Yeah.
One thing that I kind of gleaned from that is that seeing Cliff, the way he played his bass, his Rickenbacker bass, reminded me a lot of Lemmy Kilmister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know if he's ever said, I think, they've all said that, Motorhead is one of their influences.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems to me like Lemmy was probably a pretty heavy influence on Cliff Burton and his playing style.
I would think so, for sure.
I would guess.
Especially the way he tunes his bass and everything.
And they were completely different. Lars, out of sight, out of mind for the most part back there.
Pretty much.
Whereas now
the drum kit up on the pedestal.
Can't even see his face, can't see anything. Just it's true. The drums were up here and his head's down here. And it's not like today. If you go see them, and even the last 15 years, he's coming out from behind the kit every freaking song, talking to the crowd and stuff. So,
yep.
Yeah, very much more demure back then,
Mm-hmm. It was pretty awesome to see footage of Dave playing with them too. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they did feature one of his songs on
that
too.
Oh, man. As much as I love Kirk, and what he brought to the band, there's something about the way Dave plays that fit them so well.
Yes.
And he carried it over to Megadeth. There's just that that ferocity you talked about.
Yep.
Dave Mustaine has more of it than Kirk Hammett will ever have. Yes.
Totally. I mean, Kirk is really refined, that's and that was important to their sound too. But I would have loved to see all four of them. I would have liked. That would have been awesome.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
A fucking wall of sound. So let's talk a little bit about Cliff's life and his skills, and we're gonna play some clips of his solos. That was the other thing, man. God, his solos. You guys know how I feel about solos. Not a fan. Most of the time, not a fan. I think that's why the late, very, very great Eddie Van Halen got lower marks for me when we did our ultimate bands, was the jacking off on stage, the constant noodling, like things like that. It's like, all right. I get it. You're really good at what you do. Like, I get it. I did not feel that way about Cliff. And who the fuck wants to go see just a bass player like fucking rock out, But obviously we have Buckethead now, and Robin made that perfect correlation. But I could watch hours of this, of just him rocking the fuck out on his bass solos, because it sounds like no other bass solo, I've ever heard. So, we'll play a bunch of those. I look back into things that I, trying to find out information I didn't already know about him. I found a new interview with the guys talking about him, and I couldn't keep watching it because Kirk kept crying, like breaking down, and you could tell James was having a hard time, and he was just laughing through it. And I was like, yeah, let's leave that alone. But let's go back to the beginning. So Cliff was born in 1962 in Castro Valley, California, and his first instrument was a piano. He started lessons at age 6. His older brother was a musician. They were a musical family. But he didn't pick up the bass until late 75. Sadly, his older brother passed away, which is just, God, so sad for the family. Jesus. His parents said Cliff would put in up to 6 hours of practice every day, and that did not stop after he joined Metallica. His former music instructor said he would study Baroque pieces as well as different time signatures at a very young age and learned very quickly. And of course, this would go on later to define his unique sound.
I had no idea his older brother died young too. That's crazy.
Very young. I know. What a
terrible.
His father is like one of the happiest guys if you've ever seen him or heard interviews, and the guys talk about him, just this happy, kind of happy guy. Just how, oh God, it's so terrible. Both very young.
Jesus.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel for them for sure. Eduardo.
Oh, sorry. So anyway, Cliff was actually with another band before he was with Metallica. His first band was called Easy Street, named after a strip bar in the Bay Area. And here's a fun fact. Bandmates Mike Burton and Jim Martin later played together in a band called Faith No More. Ever heard of them?
Oh, just a little band.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So anyway, their second band, Agents of Misfortune, entered the Hayward Area Recreation Department's Battle of the Bands contest in 1981. And I guess there's this great clip on YouTube of this performance, which would capture some of the earliest footage of Burton's unique playing style. I will definitely have to check that out.
That was before he was in college even, or right when he got to college. So he's super young.
Yeah. So he joined the band Trauma in 1982, and I guess they had some notoriety at the time. They had a pretty decent following. Cliff was playing with his band at the Whiskey A Go-Go, which we've heard about many, many other times in this show. And that's where Lars and James discovered him, saw him playing there.
Yeah.
Yep. They talk about that night a lot. Yeah.
I would too if I was them.
They do. Yeah. And like you said, the rest is history. But at the beginning, Cliff did only agree to join the band if the guys would move up to the Bay Area. And I mean, who fucking wouldn't move up? If someone that talented
at the time too.
And from shitty LA, you got this guy who you're drooling over. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Cliff. No problem at all.
Just think about it though. He's one guy, and he's like, you guys all have to move up here for me. That's so funny.
But they saw it right away.
They did.
You got to give them credit. Yeah,
they've
right away.
Always been smart business. I mean, come on,
Always,
James and Lars are incredibly smart business people. They are very. I think their decision making when it comes to their music and their band has always been just spot on. They're very good at recruiting.
Say what you want about them musically, but you cannot knock their acumen for the business. You
Definitely
cannot. So, very famous quote from a music journalist at the time after Cliff joined Metallica. Quote, Cliff was the band's secret weapon, and despite only having 3 years in Metallica, he set the tone for the rest of the band to go on and become the biggest heavy metal outfit on the planet.
Boom.
Great quote, and very true. Yes. We always talk here about, the incredible, unique style that Cliff had. To dig a little deeper on that, Cliff, he cleverly integrated techniques often reserved for electric guitar. I mean, you could hear it, you could see it, including bends, hammer-ons, tapping, in a way that inspired a whole new generation of players to further explore the sonic potential of that instrument. He married classic harmonic development with testosterone-soaked improvisation. It's, say what you want, there are majorly huge balls behind his playing.
Fuck
You can
yeah.
see it. Huge balls behind his playing.
And confidence at such a young age, right?
Confidence, balls, everything.
Mhm.
He showcased a mature sense of musicality. So moving away from that, testosterone-soaked improvisation, he had the foundation musically to play that way.
Yes.
While headbanging, running around the stage, exhibiting the commanding presence of the rock god that he was, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about For Whom the Bell Tolls for a minute. And I won't belabor the technical stuff. I'm certainly not, I have to, understand those things. But I think it just helps to be able to articulate, the reason why his style is so unique and his sound is so unique. So definitely For Whom the Bell Tolls, one of the most iconic riffs in metal, period. And Cliff begins the song in the highest register of his instrument and then jumps down to the lowest register, playing a chromatic line from flat third to the root, which is just, at the time, people will be like, what? Well, we're like, what the fuck? Wow, did you hear that? That was amazing. And then in Master of Puppets, by the time they get to that album, Cliff is, it's lead bass on a number of tracks instead of lead guitar. And, that's Metallica's commercial breakthrough right there with his sound. Damage Inc. is a great example of that. For Master of Puppets, it's just his technique is all, his influence is all over this album. Featuring multiple bass tracks with volume swells and effects. And so with Damage Inc., so Kirk in an interview Cliff said the intro is actually based on a Bach piece called Come Sweet Death. Now, I went and listened to it. I'm not he was a huge Bach fan. I'm more of a Beethoven camp than Bach. Bach was always kind of a little depressing. Beethoven to me Beethoven was like the metal of classical music, in my opinion. So I was always like much more into him. So I listened to this Bach piece and I didn't get it at first. And then I listened to Damage Inc. And then I listened to Bach again, and I started to get the correlation. And it's really, the best way to describe it, I guess, is the ups and downs, the rolling hills. But the way to execute the rolling hills with it still being a cohesive sound was really absolutely incredible. So I have some clips for us. Let's see. Let's listen to this clip.
I never really realized that was until recently. That was actually Cliff playing the bass on that opening. That's crazy. That is so crazy.
It's so nuts.
Yeah.
Of all the great clips in this documentary, the For Whom the Bell Tolls performance from The Day on the Green in 1985 is the one that I will forever show. Yeah, which is that one, which is the one that I will forever show people who want to see the quintessential example of him playing bass.
Yes.
I mean, there's no better video of him playing bass than that video. It's the best quality. It's the best sound. And, for those who they know Metallica now or post 1991 or whatever, watch this video and you can see the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other one that was really mind-blowing that came from the documentary, I'm going to play it first and see if you guys remember at this point in the documentary.
Are you ready to do it, Cliff? Mr. Cliff Burton, all right.
I wish I could keep playing it. I hate that we have a time constraint or we get in trouble and arrested or something happens to us. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listening to it and then watching him do it's just like, that's a bass player, man. Like, fuck, you know? Just incredible. Just amazing. That's definitely was one of my favorites. And you can see the joy, like he's in the zone, but you can see the joy when you get to see his face when he comes up from it. You can see it though, that he's really getting joy from it, and that's really amazing to watch as well.
I don't think you could make music like that if you didn't love it as much as he did.
That's a good point. Probably not.
Yep.
Probably
Very well
not.
said.
Yeah. So anyway, in more recent news, starting with April 4th, 2009, Cliff was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with fellow Metallica bandmates James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, and Kirk Hammett. And in 2018, this is so cool. I remember when this happened. The Alameda County Board of Supervisors in the state of California issued a proclamation declaring February 10th, 2018 as Cliff Burton Day. And Cliff would have turned 56 on this day.
Super cool. That's coming up. It's right around the corner, and we celebrate it every year here on Metal Rock and Whiskey. We covered it when we heard the news. We signed the petition. We shared the petition. I don't even think a petition was needed, honestly. I'm sure they were going to do it anyway. It was really cool that his music teacher was there along with his father for that. Just super, super awesome. Before we continue, I just want to play one more clip. This is also from A Day at the Green, 1985.
Oh yeah! Fucking ride the lightning!
Another
so good.
I know. I mean,
James
again,
so good.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah.
It's a shitty recording of it, but you can tell that it's a wall of sound, and that was such a new thing back then. That was such just the sound that they were able to create, and again, just it just, gosh, everything. It's hard to articulate, to be honest. It really. I don't know. I kind of just found this, this little place in me. I haven't really gone back to them that deep in such a long time. And I think seeing them on video helped a lot to remind me of everything that I felt about that band and what that was, sort of remembering what that experience was like to be a kid and hear that for the first time when it was very new was just really, really incredible. And the other thing I want to say is I gave them a lot of shit, and we're going to talk about, I give them a lot of shit all the time, and Justice for All next. And just watching this again and thinking about this again, reminding myself of how young they were. To have the experience of losing Cliff, I think I didn't give that enough respect that I probably should have. But what an impact that made on them moving forward. especially at that age. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look at, this is the promise I made to myself. I'm going to look at And Justice for All in a new way. I'm going to go back to it new with a different perspective and not think about where I was. I personally, I was a kid still. I was probably one of the worst years of my childhood, my teenage years. I know exactly where I was the first time I heard it, what was happening. And so that definitely clouds your memories and your feelings on music, because music is so emotional, so we can go back to it with fresh eyes and just trying to factor in, what a spot to be in at that point. I mean, the whole missing bass is is unforgivable in my opinion, but we'll talk about that. But I'm really glad we did this. I'm really glad that we took the time to watch this. It was super fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It made me nostalgic for the 80s and metal shows, and when it was still underground and, not known and not polished. I missed that. It seemed like it was definitely simpler times. That's for sure.
For sure. Yes.
No
giant video walls or anything behind them. Just
Simple.
Simple. Yeah. Like you dudes better entertain me, because that's all you got. That's all it's on stage.
All I got. Yep. No crazy lighting, no pyro, none of that stuff.
Bunch of long-haired, dirty dudes just make good music and keep me entertained. And they did that in spades. So it was really, really awesome to watch it again. It really was. And to see them, some of the little clips of the interviews and hear them talking, they were such dorks.
Oh yeah,
dorks.
Cute. Very cute. It was adorable, because they're little guys back then. So I'm really, really glad we did this. We all felt Cliff deserved a bigger place in our deep dive into Metallica the first time, and we didn't really pull that together. So I'm glad we did it this time and we went back to it. It's been a really good journey to go back to this again. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
I do. I mean, I've seen this 1,000 times, but it's the first time in a few years I've seen it. And what strikes me the most is just the dichotomy of where they were versus what they became later on. And not taking anything away from Jason Newsted or Robert Trujillo. They brought their own thing to the band. They put their own stamp on this band. But you can build a house as big and as high as you want, but if it doesn't have a strong foundation, it's going to crumble down. So the foundation that this man built will echo forever. Doesn't matter how many different bass players they have. So
it's a great point.
Yeah.
I have also watched it thousands of times, and I'll tell you guys a funny story before we wrap it up that I told Robin while we were watching it. I once broke up with a guy over this movie. It was a video back then. So I had this boyfriend at the time who was like the hot metal guy, who turned out to be boring as shit.
Oh, that guy.
He's so boring. So all he ever wanted to, at first it was like, oh, we go down in his mom's basement and, eat pizza, smoke pot, and watch Cliff 'Em All. Okay, cool. And make out, okay, cool. Like,
sounds amazing.
Yeah. But not every fucking time you hang out. And that's it. That's all you ever do for months. That is not, trust me, after a while.
He needs to play a different card. Yeah.
Come on.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Something, anything. Watch it upstairs. I don't know. I don't know. And this is the thing. This guy had a cool car. It's probably the only reason I wanted to date him, is he had a really cool car. He had a Trans Am before I had a Trans Am. And I would be like, yeah, let's go. Like, I have gas money. Let's go drive around in your car. And that was what you did. You cruised. And you would
Metallica in the car.
Yes. I was like, yeah, we'll listen to Metallica and, let's go cruise. And we'll go, see this person and whatever. And he's, no, let's watch Cliff 'Em All again. And I was like, oh.
Well, you've talked about this guy before, right? I think you have.
Yeah.
This guy's older.
Yeah.
Was it like
right?
your friend's older brother or something?
No.
Or is that a different guy?
No, different guy. Different guy.
Okay.
different guy. So finally, when we were finally broke up with him and we were breaking up, he's like, well, why? And I was like, because I can't watch Cliff 'em all every fucking night.
Why?
So, and he was staring at me. He's like, that's why? Oh. And I was like, yes, that's why. You are going to be like 8,000 pounds and have to get pulled out of here with a crane in 10 years. Like, who even knows what happened to that guy? But I don't know. So and then all my girlfriends were like, oh my God, how could you break up with, I don't even remember his name. Blah, blah, he's so hot. I'm like, you can go for it. Trust. Go ahead. You can have him. Have fun. Have fun. And we'll be able to literally cite every single word and clip them all after 2 weeks. Fun. Super fun. That's my story. There you go.
That's great.
Let's listen to another live clip and then we'll wrap it up. How does that sound?
Right.
Sounds good.
All right. Did we listen to Four Horsemen yet? I don't think so. Let's do it. Yeah, shitty sound, but that was right off of the Clip Them All DVD, actually. So, yeah. Man, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Don't be like that guy, though. Don't watch it like every day and do nothing else in the basement. But you should
Don't let that be your only move with a girl. Don't let it be.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Agreed.
Yeah,
most importantly.
Otherwise, I'll find out and I'll come slap your face.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you have not seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a long time, see it. Please. And I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeler?
Yeah.
Feeler?
Feeler.
Someone get us out of here.
Also 1986, that movie, by the way. So, yeah. Thanks for sticking around, listeners. We hope you enjoyed the discussion as much as we did. They're still here. Are you saying they left after the second Dolly Parton playing or the first one, maybe?
Fuck that! They were in with Dolly Parton. Are you kidding me? They were totally... I want you to tell me on Instagram. Listen. Find me on Instagram. I'm Sailor Retro. And tell me you were jamming to Dolly Parton. That is bullshit, Matt. Nobody left.
Tell me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know they all stayed for both. Okay.
You better.
Yeah. So follow us on Instagram at Metal Rock Whiskey and on Twitter at Metal_Whiskey. Follow and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching us right now. Metal Rock Whiskey. If you watch, make sure to hit that thumbs up on the video and turn on that bell below us here somewhere to get notified every time we upload new content, new videos to the channel. Of course, you can find us all individually on Instagram. You can find me at the Whiskey Obsessor. That is Whiskey, save the E. Ed.
Sailor.
I just said I'm Sailor Retro on Instagram.
That's why I threw it to you, man.
All right,
You have
fine.
to do it every time.
We mix it up a little bit. All
Yeah.
right. So, and you can always find me on Instagram at Bourbon Geek, just like it says right there.
Boom.
Okay. And hey, listeners, if you love us or even just like us, we'll take that too. Please hit that subscribe button. Give us a review. It really does matter to us. And of course, tune in a couple of weeks for another episode of Metal Rock and Whiskey.
And you know what else? Fuck that Ice Earth guy.
Yeah.
Later, everyone.